Glass-stained windows were not just for decoration. This was a form of technology. The architects understood that the sun is a source of electromagnetic radiation. The sun's rays are a form of vibration and energy. If you shine light through a geometric pattern, the light that comes out the other end takes the form of that frequency, because each frequency possesses its own geometric pattern. By shining light through a sacred healing geometric pattern, it has healing effects on the human aura, which ultimately heals and regenerates your body. Your body pretty much starts vibrating as the same frequency of the geometric pattern if the light rays are touching you. Plus, the windows contain natural materials such as gold chloride, copper oxide, cobalt oxide, and silver nitrate. These were used to glass stain the windows. Natural materials are very healing for the human body. They vibrate on a natural healing frequency. Therefore, these windows were used to transform the light energy of the sun into a specific frequency to heal the human aura and the body. Each one of these geometric patterns is a different frequency, channeling the light of the sun. The ancients were far more advanced than what we are led to believe.
Masturbation is a sin. A sin is not an action against God. The word sin means god of the moon in Mesopotamian. The moon is feminine. The feminine aspect of consciousness is intuition and emotion. She tells you what is right and wrong at all times. An action taken against what you know is right is a sin against your intuition, which leads you down an egoic path of destruction. All actions come from emotions that you felt. A sin is a negative emotion that pulls you down and lowers your consciousness. And it's an action that goes against your intuition. Religion is fear-based control. They want you to fear that you go to hell. To control your physical actions. You feel God's law every single day. You know what is right at all times. The Holy Grail is the neck and the head. The ancients traveled across the world to find the Holy Grail. This journey to find the Holy Grail is symbolic of going within the self. They did not travel across lands to find the Holy Grail. Holy Grail is an inward journey of gaining the sacred knowledge of what you truly are. The cup is filled with light. Light is symbolic of knowledge. When someone's very smart, you call them bright. Illuminati is illumination of the mind. It's information of the self. Quest to find the Holy Grail is about finding the light within, gaining information about the self. Ancient knowledge is hidden behind allegories and stories. The sun is your soul. Winter is the mind. Summer is the spirit. Spring is the body. Autumn is your emotions. 4 cycles of the sun are the 4 bodies of your soul. As above, so below. What happens in the outer world happens in your inner world. The seasons of the sun happen within you, not just outside. In the winter, you're in the mind. You're more reflective and thinking. In the summer, you're in your spirit. You're more passionate and have drive. The autumn is your emotions. You're more emotional. In the spring, you're starting to do more physical things with the physical body. These 4 seasons happen within you. They change your consciousness. You are not a human in a universe. You are the universe experiencing itself in human form. You are Jesus with the 12 disciples, the sun with the 12 constellations. You are God. And your body is a temple for the divine essence of the universe to experience this physical reality. Knowledge is power, and without it, you are lost. You are far more than what you think. I'm not teaching you, I'm simply pointing these things out for you to realize about yourself. You don't live on a spinning monkey ball in space. Please do your research. Water is emotion. Jesus never turned water into wine. He transmuted negative emotion to a positive emotion. Water into wine. It's a parable talking about purifying your internal state and raising your frequency. A sin is not an act, it's an emotion. An emotion that stops you from reaching the highest states of consciousness. 7 deadly sins are internal states that lower your frequency. Baptism is a lie. The 4 elements correspond with your state of consciousness. Pouring water on your head, you moved from the earth element, the lowest state of consciousness, into the water, which is the purification of one's consciousness. Water symbolizes the first stage of awakening and the purification process. Then fire represents your full transformative awakening. Air represents communication and the mental aspect of your consciousness. And spirit is the highest state. Most people are operating on the surface level of their consciousness. You are consciousness. Your body is not you. There is a battle between your consciousness and your body, the flesh and God. You must crucify yourself and sacrifice yourself by giving up your ego and fleshly desire to God. 5 wounds on the cross are the 5 senses. You must give up material desire to your consciousness to be born again. Ethereal University will give you long-form lectures, plus a library filled with occult books. Noah's Ark never existed. It's a metaphoric story about you. Noah's Ark is in your brain. Noah meets God on a mountain. The mountain is your spine, and God is your consciousness. The mountain represents a heightened state of awareness, a higher consciousness. That's why Moses goes on a mountain to meet with God. God then floods the earth to kill all flesh. Earth rearranged is heart. Desire comes from the heart, and he flooded the earth, which is the heart, with water, which represents truth and enlightenment. God never killed everyone on the earth. It's metaphorical for you killing the desire of flesh and the desire of physical things and replenishing the heart. In order to progress spiritually and mentally, you have to heal the heart, because this is where all of your desire comes from. You must become God to know God. How can you know God if you are desiring the worldly physical things? All religion stems from the mastery of yourself to become God. None of the characters in the Bible existed. None of the stories are true stories. It's all metaphorical, written in code to how you raise yourself out of the lower carnal mind. The link is in my bio for the Book of Wisdom. The Olympic ceremony mocks the Last Supper. After their mocking, everything went down in a power outage. The only thing that remained is this lit up church. Everyone now thinks that Jesus is speaking and now coming back. But this is just another psyop. The Bible even says God's kingdom is in heaven, and then says the kingdom of God is within you, which means heaven and the kingdom of God is a state of mind and consciousness. There is no man in the sky going to save you. God's power of transmuting thought into physical reality is inside of you. The Olympic ceremony was just another psyop to push religion onto the masses so that you externalize your creative power of God. Everything you see physical is an effect of a thought. Everything began as a thought in the divine mind. Therefore, you are a thought in the mind of God, and you yourself possess a microcosm of the mind of God. Every thought you've had in the past has led you to this very point. Therefore, your external world is a projection from the mind. Don't fall for religion. The only religion is within you, and God is inside of you, people. Stop praying to Jesus. Instead, do this in Mark 11. Whatever ye pray for, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. This is powerful because it tricks your subconscious mind into believing that you have something before you actually have it. And 90% of your actions on a daily basis are the same as yesterday because of the programs in the subconscious. Reason why people's lives are so messed up is because they're praying from a place of negativity, which is tricking their subconscious. They want this. It takes everything you say as truth. Why do you think the golden rule is to treat others like you want to be treated? It's because of the subconscious. Jesus says in John, "In that day you will no longer ask me anything." Because Jesus understood you have the creative power of God of manifesting your own reality. This has even been proven. Your consciousness interacts with an energy grid around you, reflecting your internal states. Essentially, your brain is a supercomputer, simulating a holographic reality, and your thoughts and emotions alter the fabric of reality. When you're not observing something, it exists as a light wave. When your consciousness interacts with it, it collapses it into a particle, into a reality. When Jesus says, "I am the light of the world," it's the I am within you is the light of the world. We are all the universe itself experiencing its own reality. Volume 2 will be available soon. Join the email list to be notified when it's available. Have you ever wondered why the word ship is at the end of everything? There's a hidden spell behind every word. Your body is 60% water, and you were born through your mother's waters. When a ship pulls up to its bay, it's called the birth canal. The ship gives birth to the products on the ship. When the ship arrives, it gets a certificate of manifest certifying all the products on the ship. When you arrive in your mother's water, you get a certificate of manifest, which is your birth certificate, because you are a product to the system. On that birth certificate, there's a date. That date is the Gregorian calendar, which is a copyrighted timeline created by Pope Gregory. Therefore, on paper, your name is a corporation and it's signed to a copyrighted timeline. When you get a letter and your name is in full capital letters, that's your corporation, not you. You can't tax a physical body, but you can tax a corporation. You are the I am, and your consciousness is identifying itself with the corporation, which is attached to the system. The word calendar comes from calends, which is the first day of the month the Romans had to pay their tax. God's calendar is a 28-day moon cycle. They made an artificial calendar to control you. Bank is a river bank, and money is water. That's why money in the bank is called a currency, because the banks direct the flow of the current. And that's why we call it liquidity. The English language is a giant spell to keep you attached to the system. When you realize you are a piece of data carrying information through a circuit board made to harness your energy, you might just wake up. You get charged in a court because you're an electrical battery, and when you get charged, you sit in a battery cell. Advertisement is a form of mind control, manipulating emotional energy. The word advertisement is advertised to the mental body, the mind. Billboards surround everywhere, implanting messages within your subconscious. Ask yourself, do you really think we're meant to live this way? You don't need caffeine, you need charging. You are an electromagnetic battery, and you have no energy because you're not charging your field. This is the force that gives you energy and life. This will give you electromagnetic energy because it's charged by the electromagnetic sun and grows out the electromagnetic earth. Coffee doesn't give you energy. The energy levels you get off coffee is the side effect of the toxic reaction it has with your body. It's a short-term effect that gives you fake energy. Real energy comes from grounding, the sunlight, and eating electromagnetic food. Coffee is toxic for your nervous system. They'll teach you about minerals and vitamins, but never tell you the most basic thing about the human body is that it runs off electricity. It's a technological machine. Bless means be less you. A soldier is a soul dyer. You are weakened on the weekend from the weekdays. Days is unable to think in a state of confusion. On the weekdays you work a job, which is Hebrew for persecuted. On that job you earn. An urn is a vessel for the ashes of the dead. Awake is a wake. A wake is a gathering that takes place before a funeral. Hollywood is the holy wood, the wood from a holly tree. This wood was used to create magic wands. They cast spells to a broad audience through the tele-vision, through the Hollywood programs. The bottom of the foot is called the soul, and your heel is hell. Your soul is in hell. You must raise your consciousness to the head, heaven. Heel is hell, earth rearranged as heart, and head is heaven. They're inside of you, not external places. They teach you to say the vowels in this order, A, E, I, O, U, to train you to become a slave. They want you to think slaughter is laughter. The English language is full of hidden spells. Join my free Telegram chat. Planets are not spinning balls in space. They are lights within the firmament. The 7 planets give you the 7 chakras, the 7 metals, the 7 days for the week, Monday for the moon, Saturn day for Saturn, Sunday for the sun. That's why Christians celebrate their God on Sunday, because Jesus is the sun. 12 disciples, the 12 zodiac signs. Sun is your soul. Jesus is the soul inside of you. Jesus represents universal consciousness made human, which is you. 7 planets are the 7 energies that create this universe. 7 days of creation for the 7 planets. The roots are made by Saturn, the leaves are made by the moon, the fruit is made by Jupiter, the stems made by the sun. Everything in the universe is governed by a celestial body. They worship Saturn because Saturn rules time. Saturn is all about conditioning. The stars are inside of you, they are aspects of your consciousness. You are heaven and earth brought together, spirit and matter. The soul system is within you, these are the energies of the soul. Your body's a universe and your consciousness is God. Revelation 1:20, the 7 stars are the 7 angels of the churches. Can't land on a planet, they are luminous, they are lights, and they exist within you. As above, so below. This book literally tells you everything. It's called the Book of Wisdom. The link is in my bio. On something quite scary on the $1 bill, you might want to check this out. So first of all, we need to look at this symbol here. Symbolism is a language that you don't speak, and only the initiated into secret societies understand symbolism. This is filled with symbolism, and I can read it because I understand symbolism. Anu Coeptus Novus Ordo Seclarum, announcing the birth of the new order of the ages, the new world. This is the new world order. And then if we look here, what do we have? We have an omega. Omega. Alpha, the first. Omega, the last. This is the last. This is the last fiat currency before the Great Reset. This is what's happening, people. They're going to reset the currency system, and it's going to be all digital money. What do you guys think about this? Plus, we have on the $1 bill, this isn't the scary part, but this is another piece of symbolism. 1. In God we trust. God is one, because I am God, you are God. God is in everything and everyone. There is nothing but God. God is consciousness, and consciousness is in the head. This is why this symbol represents the enlightened human being. The illumination of the mind, Illuminati, illumination. This is when one realizes they are God and have limitless potential. What do you guys think? You live in a square home with square windows, and when you are home, you turn on your square TV, or you look at your square phone. When you go outside, you see square buildings. What is it with all of these squares around us? Observing the ancient buildings, they never used to build square rooms or square buildings. You will also never see a square in nature. Or did you know what you see creates your perception of reality? What you take in visually is quite literally shaping and molding your mind. In geometry, the square is the most limited shape, and it is the most simplest shape. Maybe this is done on purpose to lower our mind's potential so that we can be simple. The ancients never built in squares because they understood how energy works. They built pointed roofs so that all of the energy can escape at a singular point. Cubed rooms trap energy. All of our arguments and emotional energy is stuck within the atmosphere of our cubed rooms. Let me know what you think about this one. Thank you to everyone who joined the subscription.
That's how powerful you are. Imagination is the key. Every physical object is born from the imagination. Magi nation. You're a magician. You're a magic nation. You bring thought into physicality. That's how powerful you are. And you must figure out that you are before this physical external reality. You weave your path. You weave your life through the thought and emotion. You are the creator of your reality. You need to take control of it. And if you don't take control of it, the programs they install in your mind will. If you don't control your reality, external reality will control you. Your circumstances are an externalization of your thought. You have thought your way into this reality. Therefore, you must think your way out of your circumstances. Your circumstances.
I dare you to drink tap water after watching this video. This is absolutely insane. You might just want to show this to your friends and family to raise awareness. You might just save someone by showing them this video. Religions were made to hide the truth about yourself. Jesus never turned water into wine. This is gonna blow your mind. Jesus spoke all things to the crowd in parables. Matthew 13:34. It's a symbolic and allegorical story about you turning water into wine. Fire is masculine. Water is feminine. Masculine is intellect. Feminine is emotion. Water is symbolic for emotion. Thoughts are the language of the mind. Emotion is the language of the soul. Emotions are communication from your soul. If you are jealous of someone, this is your soul telling you where you need to be in life. Every fear you have is showing you an obstacle for you to grow, to expand into your life purpose. Water into wine is symbolic in turning negative emotions into growth and expansion, transmuting hate into love, jealousy into your reality. Jesus represents you, a manifestation of God's consciousness in physical form. Jesus tells you, whatever I can do, you can do better in John 14:12. Jesus is you. Baptism is symbolic of moving from earth into water, the second stage of consciousness, truth. Dunking your head in water won't do anything. Baptism happens within. This man managed to prove and reveal the terrible truth that we are all being watched. He conducted a simple experiment on Google Maps and its traffic congestion feature. Simon Weckert achieved this by collecting a total of 99 phones from friends, rental companies, and family. He then placed all of these phones in a cart and walked along the roads of Germany, which had virtually no traffic. Despite the lack of traffic, his phone showed that there was heavy amounts of traffic on the roads that he was walking on. From this, Simon calculated that Google Maps calculates traffic congestion based upon the amount of phones clustered in one area. His theory turned out to be correct, as all the cell phones were signaling heavy traffic on the empty roads he was walking on. This is quite scary because who knows what data they can collect about us through these devices. Is it a coincidence the word iPhone has I within it, which means the inner self? Our phones are pretty much extensions manifestations of our planets are not spinning balls in space. They are lights in the firmament. They give you the 7 chakras, the 7 days of the week, the 7 days of creation, and the 7 metals. Gold is a physical crystallization of the sun. That's why banks are backed by gold, because the sun is the soul of the solar system. It gives life to all things. Silver is a physical manifestation of the moon's energy. Mercury gives you mercury, Saturn gives you lead. Low vibrating light turns into matter, high vibrating matter turns back into light. Everything's made out of light. That's why the ancients were decked out in jewelry. By wearing the metal, you can harness the energy of each planet. The planets are different aspects of consciousness. They are energies, emotional states, and levels of awareness that manifest all conditions in the external and internal world. These are the Elohim. Read this book if you want to know more. My YouTube might help you understand this. Red fruit is for energy and vitality. Purple and blue fruit is for relaxation because it's high in antioxidants. Green fruit is for the digestive system and detoxification. Orange and yellow is for the brain. Whatever feeling you have is your internal guidance system. And if you know the colors of food, you can use this for your advantage. Your pits is not meant to smell. Your breath is not meant to smell. You're not meant to have runny noses. You're not meant to have smelly farts or smelly poos. This is all unnatural food seeping through your skin. We all have a natural odor for our bodies. However, we should not be smelling, and it should not smell horrible. If you have any of these signs, you need to go on a fruit-only cleanse for at least a month and start to fast and remove all of this toxic waste within the body. If you are not removing waste from the body, it means it's accumulating within the body, and accumulated waste can turn into diseases. If you are eating 3 times a day, you should be going to the toilet 3 times a day. If not, it is accumulating and building waste within the body. Have you ever wondered why the word ship is at the end of everything? There's a hidden spell behind every word. Your body is 60% water, and you were born through your mother's waters. When a ship pulls up to its bay, it's called the birth canal. The ship gives birth to the products on the ship. When the ship arrives, it gets a certificate of manifest certifying all the products on the ship. When you arrive in your mother's water, you get a certificate of manifest, which is your birth certificate, because you are a product to the system. On that birth certificate, there's a date, and that date is the Gregorian calendar, which is a copyrighted timeline created by Pope Gregory. Therefore, on paper, your name is a corporation and it's signed to a copyrighted timeline. When you get a letter and your name is in full capital letters, that's your corporation, not you. You can't tax a physical body, but you can tax a corporation. You are the I am, and your consciousness is identifying itself with the corporation, which is attached to the system. The word calendar comes from calends, which is the first day of the month the Romans had to pay their tax. God's calendar is a 28-day moon cycle. They made an artificial calendar to control you. Bank is a river bank, and money is water. That's why money in the bank is called a currency, because the banks direct the flow of the current. And that's why we call it liquidity. The English language is a giant spell to keep you attached to the system. Bless means be less you. A soldier is a soul dyer. You are weakened on the weekend from the weekdays. Days is unable to think in a state of confusion. On the weekdays you work a job, which is Hebrew for persecuted. On that job you earn. An urn is a vessel for the ashes of the dead. Awake is a wake. A wake is a gathering that takes place before a funeral. Hollywood is the holy wood, the wood from a holly tree. This wood was used to create magic wands. They cast spells to a broad audience through the tele-vision, through the Hollywood programs. The bottom of the foot is called the soul, and your heel is hell. Your soul is in hell. You must raise your consciousness to the head, heaven. Heel is hell, earth rearranged as heart, and head is heaven. They're inside of you, not external places. They teach you to say the vowels in this order, A-E-I-O-U, to train you to become a slave. They want you to think slaughter is laughter. The English language is full of hidden spells. Join my free Telegram channel. If you flip the human nervous system upside down, it looks like a tree growing from a seed, bearing the fruit of the heart, which looks like a fruit dangling on a tree. The tree growing from the seed also feeds the fruit of the spirit. The cycle of the seed is the same cycle of your life. The cycle of the seed is also the same as the parable of the sower. 12 cranial nerves managing the movement of the body, being controlled by the mind. 12 disciples spreading the gospel of Jesus. Jesus is the head. Jesus meets his disciples in the upper room. 12 12 imams of Shia, 12 tribes of Israel with the one left out, 12 zodiac constellations around the sun. Are you starting to see it? You are the son of God. Consciousness is connected to the source of the universe. Brain is a holographic computer projecting this reality. Consciousness is a fractal of God. Your life is a file. Your brain is the husband. Your heart is the wife. The husband, or the brain, is responsible for thinking, taste, touch, hearing, and smelling and sight. Wife is the heart, which is submissive to the brain, emotion, following, and doing. You are arguing because it's the brain against the heart. Thinking versus emotion. You must learn how to sync the mind with the heart. By studying the body, you can study how relationships are truly meant to be. The book in my bio will tell you everything. Kim Kardashian for Halloween wore a reptilian outfit. Many people are saying this is her true form. Maybe she is a reptilian. This looks very realistic. However, reptilians do not exist. There is a region within the human brain that is called the brainstem, which is also known as the reptilian brain. You use this part of the brain when you're in a survival state, fight or flight, eating and breathing. Essentially, this part of the brain does not think. It's always scanning the environment for food, threats, or even reproduction. This aspect of our brain is the lower mind, our animal self. Reptilians do not exist. Reptilians do not rule the world. But the reptilian brain at this moment in time is conquering human consciousness as a collective. Modern society only thinks about reproduction, food, and surviving. We are all stuck in fear and using this part of our brain. Get busy with the Wizzy, with the Book of Wisdom Volume 2. Religions were made to hide the truth about yourself. Jesus never turned water into wine. This is going to blow your mind. Jesus spoke all things to the crowd in parables. Matthew 13:34. It's a symbolic and allegorical story about you turning water into wine. Fire is masculine. Water is feminine. Masculine is intellect. Feminine is emotion. Water is symbolic for emotion. Thoughts are the language of the mind. Emotion is the language of the soul. Emotions are communication from your soul. If you are jealous of someone, this is your soul telling you where you need to be in life. Every fear you have is showing you an obstacle for you to grow, to expand into your life purpose. Water into wine is symbolic in turning negative emotions into growth and expansion, transmuting hate into love, jealousy into your reality. Jesus represents you, a manifestation of God's consciousness in physical form. Jesus tells you, whatever I can do, you can do better in John 14:12. Jesus is you. Baptism is symbolic of moving from earth into water, the second stage of consciousness, truth. Dunking your head in water won't do anything. Baptism happens within. Jesus never existed. The Last Supper is astrology. Each body part is ruled by a zodiac. Aries the lamb rules the head, which is why he's on the head of the table. Taurus rules the neck. He has a very thick neck for Taurus the bull. The next sign is Gemini. Gemini is the two arms, the two twins. That's why his hands are up for the two twins. Next sign is Cancer the crab with pinchers. He's holding a knife for the pincher of Cancer. The next sign is Leo, when the sun is powerful, radiant, and summer. That's why he's showing dominance with a clenched fist and an elbow on the table. The next sign is Virgo the virgin. He's pointing that there's no Adam's apple. This is a woman of Virgo the virgin. Jesus is the sun, the light of the world, the risen savior, the son of God. He's placed in a triangle to symbolize the sun's rays. One hand up for the daytime, one hand down for the taking away of the sun at nighttime. Libra is when the sun is balanced between summer and the winter. That's why Libra is the balanced scales, and the symbol is a half rising sun. That's why he's holding his arms out balanced. Next sign is Scorpio, with this man pointing upwards. Scorpio is our reproductive sexual organs. He's pointing up because you must raise your sexual energy up to Aries. That's why Aries is an anagram for arise. They're in 4 groups of 3 because there are 3 months in each season. Luke, Mark, John, and Matthew. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Jesus is the sun, which is our soul. Spring is our physical body. Summer is our spirit. Fall is our emotions. Winter. Stop seeking attention from people. You're operating from a sense of lack. You're trapping yourself in a cycle of seeking external validation. This will continue to happen until you figure out that true happiness, true validation comes from within. You're telling your subconscious mind this is what you want by seeking these things. Everything you do, everything you think is telling your subconscious that's what you want, and it's bringing it into existence. This is how it works. Nothing physical can ever satisfy your heart, can ever fill the void you have in your soul. Because your soul is not from this physical earth. Therefore, nothing from this physical earth can ever fill the void in your spiritual soul. You must find happiness within. You must be like the sun, which shines naturally without seeking recognition. Find it within. They've lied to you about geometry. Every frequency has its own geometric pattern. Physical matter is just low vibrating energy at a specific frequency. Everything is vibration, vibrating on a specific frequency, which creates a different geometric pattern. Everything contains geometry. They tell you this is God's mathematical codes behind this reality. The true geometry is within you, and I'm going to explain it in a minute. Firstly, you need to understand the brain is an energy decelerator. Nothing around you is physical, it's energy, and your brain condenses it into a reality that you can interact with. Light enters the eyes, it turns into electricity and goes to the optic nerve to the visual cortex, and it creates an image in the brain. Therefore, you are not in the world is within your brain and body. You're experiencing a simulation by your nervous system. Therefore, geometry is actually your brain's mathematical codes on turning energy into matter. These geometric patterns is basically your brain's way of decoding energy. Everything they teach you is external to keep you looking outside yourself, but it's all internal. You are God in human form. The problem with the world is that we lack understanding of who we are, and what we are doing in this physical reality. Religion is just a way to externalize the God inside of you into someone else that you can worship to give away your power. Jesus and Satan are aspects of your consciousness, the higher mind and the lower mind. They just made a character out of it.